Good afternoon, good morning, or good evening, or good night, wherever you are in the world. We're here in beautiful downtown Dubai, where at the moment is probably about 30 degrees outside, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. This is the Hotel General Manager Dinosaur. Normally I do this with Robin Pratt. Used to be Robin in the Dinosaur, but Robin's busy these days running a hotel in Malta. So you've got me on my own. Leon Larkin, the Hotel General Manager Dinosaur. And boy, am I a dinosaur. I'm getting a bit long in the tooth, but I do this session because I believe that some of the ways that we used to run hotels are still very pertinent today. So who am I? Leon Larkin. And you can find me on LinkedIn. I'm the president and founder of the International Association of Hotel General Managers, based here in Dubai, and I've managed hotels, as you'll see on my LinkedIn profile, all around the world. Beijing, Hong Kong, Singapore, Australia, Prague, Helsinki, St. Petersburg and Kiev. Now there's a mix for you. My first hotel as a GM was a 1,000-room hotel in Beijing, the Great Wall Sheraton, with 8 restaurants, 1,500 staff and a ballroom that sat 1,400 people. Can you believe that? And there is nothing in this industry that hasn't happened to me, that hasn't happened to the industry, that hasn't happened to me. So I would consider myself well matured, if not roasted, by experience. So I started this association as a benefits platform for hotel general managers. And this all started for me because one day after playing a round of golf with a couple of pilots, I started to say that being a hotel general manager was a profession. And they laughed at me and said, no, you guys don't qualify as a profession. And that got me thinking. I was very upset at that. And I was trying to tell them that we are responsible for the lives of people every day just like they are. And go back to my first hotel of 1,000 rooms. I was responsible for the lives of a couple of thousand people a day. And in China, if there's a fire in a hotel and you lost a life, it's the general manager who went to jail. I mean, how more responsible can you be than that? So I started to think, and I did some research, and I looked up Wikipedia, and I found that there are about 100 different professions that have their own association, from boiler makers to where are we? Cinema photographers, lawyers. You know who they are. And yet we as a hotel group of general managers, we don't have a profession. We don't have a body that represents us. Where do we go when we need somebody? So we started this association 5 years ago, and slowly we've clawed forward, and we've had a lot of setbacks, particularly the pandemic. So we've had to go to projects, which we'll talk about in a moment. And I'm trying to help people. I decided that how are we going to help each other as a group? Well, we need more members because we need to be able to network. We need to be able to share best practices. We need to be able to... There are questions you need to ask as a GM that you don't want to go to the owner to, you don't want to go to your company to. You need an outsider's perspective sometimes on somebody who's had this sort of experience. Believe it or not, I do about 4 mentoring sessions a week with different people, young GMs around the world, and I'm happy to do it. But they have to join the association to get my valuable time. And I'm happy to help GMs because the industry's been good to me. And I want other GMs, experienced GMs, to join us in this profession to be able to do that. So apart from helping GMs and networking, we're also looking at education. Did you know, unless one of you can tell me I'm wrong, I can't find anywhere that general managers can do an MBA program, because these days you need to have an MBA basically to become a GM, because nobody will hire you otherwise in that position. There are no MBA programs for hotel general managers. Things like, and you know what I'm talking about, owner relationships, company politics, pre-opening of hotels. You haven't lived until you've pre-opened a hotel, let me tell you. And there are guys and girls that are really good at it and have done 4 or 5. I've done 3 in my time. We want to establish scholarships. for prospective young hoteliers, particularly children of members, helping members who are in dire straits. This came to me as a story of a general manager in the UK who had a very bad accident, and he was going to be off work for quite some time. It turned out to be 12 months. And he said, he wrote this story about the fact that his insurance ran out after 6 months. People stopped coming to see him after 2 months. And he said when his insurance ran out, his wife had to go back to work, his whole lifestyle changed, the kids had to change school. There was nowhere he could go for help. But we want to provide a body where we can help each other in those situations. Helping with personal contracts. When you go to from one hotel to another, who do you get to help you look at your contract to see if every item is covered? We've got the experienced people to do that. Being there for that advice that I'm telling you about, having an annual conference somewhere like Dubai, where we can all come together and share our experiences and just make our own networking arrangements. Have a look at our list of governors on our website, www.hotelgms.com. You'll see that they're like me, old dinosaurs, but they're the doyens of the hotel industry, CEOs of hotel companies and so on. We're there to help you. So the big question is, if you haven't seen us, now you're hearing about us. The membership fee is $190 a year US. I would have thought your company would pay for that for you, because belonging to a professional association looks great on a CV. It shows that you care for the industry. But if $190 is too much, come and tell me. We are trying to find a balance that is going to bring in more membership. So please, let me know. l.larkin@hotelgms.com. l.larkin@hotelgms.com, and at the end of this podcast, you'll be able to pick that information up. At the moment, we're working on 2 projects. Very, very interesting. One we've been working on for some time with the university is to do this MBA program, but to open a global hub of excellence for the hotel industry with an ideas and innovation centre, because our industry doesn't innovate. Now, you again can tell me, as I'm the dinosaur here. You younger GMs are out there in the marketplace. I'm not a GM anymore. I'm supposed to be retired. So as far as ideas are concerned, if you think about it, revenue management we stole from the airlines. Loyalty programs we stole from the airlines. What have we done as an industry that innovates? Where is our innovation? Where do our ideas come from? We have all these young people now out in the world who have a completely different view of technology and so on than we do. Why can't we bring them together and then come up with, give them projects to do and so on? Where do they do that? The second thing we need is a crisis management centre. What have we learnt from the pandemic crisis? Because another crisis is around the corner. It's not going to be a pandemic, but it'll be something. Were you ready? How can we be ready? What can we do to mitigate against something bad that can happen in our industry and knock 50% occupancy off your business overnight? How are we going to manage that? Are you ready to do that? Because our system of budgeting and so on doesn't allow for that, not from my experience. Also, we need to honour each other, and we need to have a Hall of Fame with an annual dinner to recognise those people in the industry who have contributed to the industry, who have done things for the industry. You know, the Bill Marriott's and Rocco Fortes of the world, yes, of course them. But there are also other players. I'm thinking of that hotel general manager in Mumbai who was there when the terrorists came in and shot up his guests and his loved ones. And the guy from Hotel Rwanda. How do we honour those people? So we really want to do that. And we want to increase the MBA program to incorporate those things that hotel general managers need to know. Unfortunately, in a lot of cases, hotel general managers tend to be appointed a bit like football managers. We think you're ready. And that's a recipe for failure. You've got to be trained. You've got to do your apprenticeship. And I know young people today want to be general manager overnight, but it doesn't work like that. You've got to go through the processes and learn what goes on in and around. The second project we're working on is very interesting, is the death of the minibar. And we've come up with a frictionless technology shop that fits into a hotel, has no staff. Now, it means that you swipe your credit, the guest swipes their credit, walks in, takes what they want and walk out. And if you're interested in that, because this is going to be the way of the future, tremendous labour saving costs for hotel, tremendous guest satisfaction because you've got a far wider range of product. And then we've got a situation like here in the UAE where 80% of hotels have a minibar fridge, but they don't have a minibar product. So this is perfect for that. So that we're going to be pushing that barrow as we move forward. But please, and another thing that I want to do is that in future sessions, we're going to have guests on to talk about a product that you may not have heard of that would be interesting for you in your hotel, healthcare products or whatever. And also we're going to have a session for, if you are a GM looking for a job, we have a tremendous database and you can come on and pitch yourself. So we'll pick one every time we have a podcast, if you're interested, where you can pitch yourself out there and say, this is who I am and this is what my ambitions are and so on. So moving along, please get in touch with us. Please let me know what your questions are. Like my favorite topic at the moment, Robin and I discussed this in a previous podcast. Who is in charge of the food and beverage sales in your hotel? Who is actually in charge of putting bums on seats in your restaurant? Interesting question. So please let me know what you want to talk about. We're happy to have you. We're happy to have you ring in future podcasts. We can do all of that. Let's discuss this. Let's keep this going. And please let me know what you would like us to do as far as the association is concerned. www.hotelgms.com. Stay well. Cheers.